Rayzr. Hey, welcome back to Sketching with Rayzr. Today I am practicing drawing the thumbnails. I'm not actually drawing the thumbnails specifically for an episode on my other channel, just something to practice and get better at. I want to be able to draw more dynamic poses as well as, dynamic design and lighting and whatnot. For this one in particular, I will be drawing a made-up thumbnail for like a Marvel Rivals episode on a video game channel. I'm not actually playing Marvel Rivals right now, although it looks fun. A whole bunch of people are talking about it and praising it, but I'd rather get better at drawing it. And speaking of praises, the particular character that I'm going to be drawing is Squirrel Girl. Apparently a Marvel character that's been in the comics for longer than I actually knew. I had no idea she was a 90s character. In fact, I think the first time I found out about her was when she apparently beat up Thanos, which is kind of weird. Then I found out she was kind of like a pseudo joke character in her comics. I'm not sure how seriously they were taking it with the whole her beating up Thanos thing, but whatever. She's currently way more popular now due to Marvel Rivals, so I figured why not. And she's even got her own little cute companion, a little squirrel that I have no idea what the name of. Future Rayzr here, and I just looked it up, and apparently the squirrel's name is Tippy Toe. I repeat, the squirrel's name is Tippy Toe. From what I remember, in the Marvel Rivals game, she is using like a slingshot, because it's supposed to be like a sort of hero shooter-esque team battle royale game. I don't know, but instead of using a gun, she uses a slingshot, which is kind of funny. You got Iron Man firing repulsor blasts, well, she's just like, nope, I got me a slingshot. I wonder if she fires acorns. I wouldn't be surprised if she did. It would be real funny if she could like fire an acorn into one of the joints of the Iron Man suit and somehow cause it to explode or something. Initially, I was gonna have her sort of dynamically jumping alongside her squirrel, but a little later on, I decided to do a more close-up dynamic picture. Mostly because in terms of a dynamic look, foreshortening and perspective shots are more dynamic than, a more flat-on pose. So instead of her jumping in the air and, striking a peace pose with her squirrel, she's kind of got like a leaned back pose while throwing up the peace sign and giving them the thumbs up. I zoomed out here. I zoomed out here because one of my issues that I've been having is that I will draw something for a really long time while zoomed in. And because I've spent so much time zoomed in, by the time I zoom out to look at the whole picture, the proportions or, just the picture itself will be off. Zooming in gives me tunnel vision, especially if I'm zoomed in for a really long time, so I won't be able to notice any issues that I may be running into with anatomy or perspective or whatever it may be, which is why it is good to always zoom out periodically or just stay zoomed out while you're drawing something, as well as every now and then flip or rather mirror your artwork so that it looks good if it's flipped right to left as it is left to right. So one of the things that I wanted to practice is drawing while zoomed out, which I found a lot more difficult than expected, but also easy at the same time, which sounds weird, but when it comes to drawing poses, drawing a small character in a pose is much easier then being zoomed in and the scale of the image that you're drawing is larger. Therefore, you're wasting more effort into drawing something that's very large versus something that would be very small. But yeah, the pose itself is her leaning back, throwing up a peace sign, throwing up a thumbs up, and her squirrel sort of being up and close to the quote-unquote camera and hanging off the borders. I had a bit of an issue getting the proportions of the foreshortened body of Squirrel Girl correct. Actually, even now, after looking at the final image, I'm still not sure if I nailed it. But it mainly lied in the whole foreshortening of the body while also tilting it forward. But aside from that, while her design is somewhat simple, I wanted to sort of simplify it a little bit more to quote unquote save on time. Because, another thing that I wanted to work on is increasing my speed. So I would try to find shortcuts within the drawing to increase that speed, whether it's simplifying a design, simplifying a pose, simplifying an expression on the background, or whatever.
Now you might be thinking, but Rayzr, earlier you said you wanted to practice dynamic posing. So what are you talking about, you silly goober?
I know. Despite trying to practice dynamic drawing, I also wanted to be able to challenge myself with multiple things at the same time. Definitely contradictory, but I'm weird like that. Another thing that I was going to do was have her hold up her slingshot and sort of prepare like an acorn or something before firing it at the screen. But I figured that was a little too complex, considering I was already having issues with drawing things in perspective and foreshortening. So I figured just have her do a peace sign and throw a thumbs up. That's it. Unfortunately, I'm also currently having trouble with drawing hands and fingers. But I want to keep pushing myself to be more complex rather than constantly trying to draw simple poses and draw simple anatomy. But later in the video, I'm going to add a video game border to the thumbnail. So, the text, I'm going to have the logo of the Marvel Rivals and then somewhat of a border similar to the designs that they've been using for ads of the game. And the squirrel that Squirrel Girl brings along with her will be hanging off the border, while Squirrel Girl's leaned back pose will sort of be in line with the border itself. You'll see what I mean later on when I show you the sped up section, which is essentially going to be now. But I hope you guys have a great day, and make sure to always keep your mind, body, and soul razor sharp. Rayzr.